So how do I fill my workshops? I mean, I know how to get my first paying clients. I've practiced the four-step sales process. I basically understand what I need to do to retain clients for the long term. But how do I fill my actual workshops or my webinars? This is
Mhm.
exactly what we talk about today in our mini podcast with Richard Bernstein, the CEO of Mars Venus Coaching. He's been coaching for well over 20 years, and he's going to share his secrets of his success with us today. And please do us a little favor. If you find the content valuable and helpful, subscribe to the channel. With that said, let's dive into it. Richard, thank you for taking the time. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation because I think a lot of coaches ask themselves how they can best fill their workshops with potential clients. Maybe we start with how did you start? How did you begin and what did you do to get to the place where you're at now?
Well, I know a lot of coaches are using social media to try to fill a workshop. And I know I don't look old enough, but there was not social media when I started doing this.
Yeah.
So everything was done, whether it was belly to belly is what we used to call it then. I would go to networking events and I would personally invite people. I would be in the corporate offices walking down the hallway and handing flyers to people. I would go out into the street and look at, business strip malls and I would hand out flyers. So it was all done belly to belly. There's a lot of advantage nowadays with technology and all of that. So we can talk about those. But the way I got started was literally personally inviting every single person to my workshop. That
Mhm.
I mean, one-on-one. Can you come to a workshop on growing your business? Can you come to a workshop on lowering your stress? Things like that. Times have changed over the years, and because I have coached and trained so many people on how to fill a workshop, a lot of it is now getting into technology.
I mean, do you have a favorite one? Do you have one that like works all the time or one that works best? What would you recommend someone who's starting off and is trying to fill their workshops?
I'll tell you one of the most important things, and a lot of people don't know this. Every business is always trying to find value add for their clients, for their customers.
Mhm.
And what I learned that works every single time is to set up a strategic alliance with another company that already has your client base in it. And you can do a workshop in their business for their clients that it looks like, and I'll tell you a little story. The first time that this happened to me, I thought, okay, who has small business clients as their customers? And I started thinking, okay, banks do, and commercial real estate because they deal with businesses, commercial insurance. And then I started thinking, wait a minute, accountants. Accountants have a lot of small business owners that they do the books for or they do the taxes for. And then I had an epiphany. My brother's an accountant. Let me call my brother and see if I can do a workshop, a business building workshop for his clients. So I called him up. He's in California. He said, "What workshop? Let me see it." So I had to get in my car. I drove to LA. I opened up my laptop. I showed him the presentation. He goes, "This is really good stuff." Sure, I'll invite my clients to come to a business building workshop because I do their taxes, I do their books, but I never thought about helping them in business. The funny thing was, when I did the workshop, I went back. He did all the marketing. He sent out the flyers. I didn't have to do anything. And when I walked in, I presented it. They went and thanked him, not me. They went and said, "Hey, Bernie, thank you so much for doing this workshop, for arranging this for us." Business owners are always looking for value add. That one, setting up strategic alliances, works every single time because they want to give value to their clients and you have that value. I now do it with Mars Venus coaches around the world because we have a gender intelligence stress workshop, how men and women cope with stress. Well, where do you go when you're stressed out? People go to the gym, some people like that. My wife goes to Pilates. My daughter used to go to a yoga studio here in Las Vegas. So I called up the yoga studio and I said, "I'd love to do a stress workshop for your clients." She said, "Well, let me see what it is." I went down there, I opened it up. She loved it. It's all of John's, how men and women cope with stress differently. And I did it in her studio every month for 12 months in a row. I got so many clients from that that one good alliance can feed your workshops for a very long time.
Mhm.
One good alliance.
And in terms of business, does it work similarly for
You
business
mean?
projects?
Oh, sure. That's what I did with my accountant. That's what I did with
Oh
my
yeah,
older
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
And so it works really well in business because they want to give value add. You just have to have a good workshop. We've created amazing workshops for our coaches here at Mars Venus. They love our workshops because they just turn them on and present. And they make a lot of sense, whether it's in our life course or our business course or our executive course. That's what we teach you is how to present value. Because remember in another video we did a few weeks ago, the workshop model is one of the best models for client acquisition. Why? Because it positions you credibly. It positions you as an expert. It forces you to learn the material and build your confidence. After one or two or three workshops, you have a lot of confidence, and that's why they want to work with you. Not because you tell them you're a good coach,
Mm.
because they see you in action. So I did a workshop every month for the first 5 years, literally 60 workshops in 5 years.
And could you apply the same principle to like online,
Of
like
course,
webinars,
I do
online
them
work?
all online now. Yes, absolutely. I did them in person then. Once everything moved online, about a year or two before COVID, people started working more and more online. And then with COVID, I did everything online.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it worked really well.
And
You know
and
what else it did, Helmet? It opened my market because before all my clients were local. Then now I can coach all over the world.
and how do you find how do you go about looking for those strategic partnerships? Do you have like a process that you can share?
Well, yes, the first thing I want to think of is who is my avatar? Who's my ideal client? So if it's in business, it's a small business owner. I have a 5-5-5 rule of my avatar. 5 years in business, 500,000 in revenue, and 5 employees. That was kind of my sweet spot because they usually run into the challenges after 5 years in business. You hit a brick wall, or you have 5 employees and now there's challenges within the business, in personalities, things like that. So I'm always looking for that sweet spot. And then the second step, once you have that avatar, is who is already doing business with that kind of avatar. And when I thought about small business owners, I thought about accountants. I thought about, commercial real estate. I thought about commercial insurance. I thought about banks. I thought, who does business with small business owners? Because I guarantee that business owner is looking for value to give to them. So
Hmm.
that's step two is who has that same client base. And then three, you physically have to pick up the phone or walk into their business and say, I have an amazing idea. I'd love to present this workshop to your clients. Guess who they're going to thank? Not me. They're going to thank you for putting this together for them. It's a really effective strategy is doing it.
and then you
Strategic
and then
alliance.
you and then you apply that four-step sales process that we've talked about in a previous video, which I'm going to link into one of those corners, so you can click the video from there. And okay, 1 second.
Now, I can give you one more strategy because
Yeah.
strategic alliance works all the time. But I
Mhm.
do want to tell you one of the mistakes that a lot of coaches are doing, not of course at Mars Venus, but their own coaching, whatever they do, is they focus on social media.
Mhm.
And they have to understand the mechanics of social media. The people that go on there are fickle, they're not really loyal. So when they go on there, the first thing they try to do is market for a workshop or tell people about their workshop. They'll do a post about it. What they don't understand is they got to give value first. So the key is give value, start to collect a following. We have a lot of our coaches that started with 0 followers and then they had 10 and then they had 22 and then they had, 104 and they grew it like that, giving value, giving value, giving value, and then tell them about your workshop. So
Mhm.
that's the mistake that they make is they market directly for their workshop and nobody knows who they are. Why would I come to this workshop? I don't know the person. I don't know the topic.
And I
But
guess that's the advantage when you do that live, because you go there as a person, or if you do it in person, you go
right.
to the business in person, you build the connection with the receptionist, with the business owner, and you present the idea of the workshop. And obviously, not everybody is going to take you up on your offer, right? But I mean, that's just life. But out of 10, like How was it for you? Did you
Two,
get a lot of
two,
rejections
2 or 3 out of 10.
out of
Yeah,
10?
no, the time to do that, or no, I don't really want to need to give them different value or additional value, or there's just not a connection between you and that person. That happens, but that's okay because, like I said, I only need one. I need one good alliance. I did that workshop in her studio for 12 months in a row, every single month. I even had people coming back a second time and going, "Oh, this is different. Is this a new workshop?" No, same one I did 2 months ago. And they just sat through it again because most material content goes in one ear and out the other. So the fact that you can get people to just do it again and again, and that business owner was actually getting new clients because of that, because they'd come in and go, "Oh, you do yoga studios or you do accounting, and we do workshops for our clients on how to lower your stress or how to build relationships or how to build your business or how to do marketing." All the business and life workshops that we have gives a lot of value to their clients. All they have to do is understand that one concept and you're in.
And if I understand correct, that is the advantage of actually being a licensed martial coach, right? Because as a martial coach, you get all those workshops,
Yes.
all those assets become yours to use. So you don't need to sit there, by yourself trying to figure out how to prepare the workshops, what works, what doesn't
You
work.
get everything.
Test,
You get the presenter's notes, you get the PowerPoint, you get the handouts, you get the workbooks. Everything that you do is turnkey. But you also get the learning of how to set up a strategic alliance. We actually have a script for that. You read this script to them on the phone or go in and face to face. They're going to want to do this because it's for them. You're not selling anything. You're giving a free workshop for their clients. I even did it at the Mars Venus office. I even did it there. When I moved into that office, I said to the general manager who walked me around and showed me, I said to her, "What value do you give to all the clients here?" She said, "What do you mean? We give them space. They get an office." I go, "Okay. Is there another value?" She said, "Yeah, coffee. We have a coffee machine." I go, "Okay. Any other value?" She goes, "Well, I don't know. We have a candy machine." And I'm like, "Guess what? Let's do business building workshops once a month and you can market for that." So you're marketing for space. And when they come in, "Oh, by the way, we also do business building workshops to help you every month in the conference room, like we talked about before, lunch and learn." And it was a selling point for her to get new tenants in the building.
Brilliant. That is
Yeah.
very cool. That is very.
Yeah.
And do those workshops also work for online, for webinars?
100%.
Okay,
You just turn them on just like we're doing now, as opposed to face to face.
gotcha.
The only difference is I can do a workshop in my pajamas.
Well, hopefully you don't. Only pajama bottoms, right? Shirt on the top, pajama bottoms.
My SpongeBob SquarePants boxers.
Okay, before we finish, a piece of advice from your heart to someone who is doing their first workshop.
The steps that I told you. Step one, who's your avatar? Who's your perfect ideal client? Step two, who has clients like that already as a business owner? And step three, just call them up and say, "I'd love to do workshop for you." They'll say, "No, not now." Click. Okay, next one. Next. It's a different kind of sale, setting up a strategic alliance than trying to sell a client. But once you have that one alliance, it'll change your coaching business forever. You never have to market. They do the marketing for you. They send out the flyers. You can put them on the counter as people check out if it's a store, things like that. But if you drive down the street and look at all the businesses on both sides of the street, there's an alliance there. You set up that alliance, your coaching business will take off.
Beautiful. I really enjoy that, and I think as so many people are streaming online, I think there's something very valuable about going in person to an actual business and presenting yourself there.
Yep.
Love that. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, Rich. Thank you for your words. Thank you for your experience. Thanks for sharing your secrets. And for you who's been watching, again, if you found this interesting, please subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in becoming a coach, read in the descriptions. We'll have some links there that you can click. You can fill out a quiz to see if you have what it takes to become a successful masterminds coach. And I look forward to seeing you on our next podcast. Thank you very much. Ciao.
Bye, everyone.
All right, that went well.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah, a little bit of cutting there.